Do you like pork ribs? But most of the time, we eat marinated pork ribs, right? Today, let's talk about something special: fresh pork ribs grilled over charcoal. What does freshly butchered pork rib taste like when grilled over charcoal? How does it compare to regular pork ribs? What are the advantages and disadvantages of fresh ribs? Let's dive into all of that right now. 1. Difference between fresh and aged meat. First, we need to understand the difference between fresh and aged meat. Generally, the pork we eat goes through an aging process. Aging helps break down the meat's fibers, making it tender and enhancing umami. However, during the aging process, some of the natural juices are lost, and the pork's original rich aroma can slightly change. On the other hand, fresh pork ribs are used immediately after butchering, meaning they retain their full natural juices and have a stronger, more distinct pork flavor. This is the biggest characteristic of fresh pork ribs. They allow you to enjoy the unaltered, clean taste of pork. 2. The right way to grill fresh pork ribs. Now, how do we grill fresh pork ribs to get the best taste? First, don't use excessive heat. Fresh meat has a higher moisture content than aged meat, so if you grill it over very high heat, the outside can burn while the inside remains undercooked. Use medium heat to cook it evenly and retain the juices. Second, start grilling with the bone side down. Since pork ribs have bones, the meat near the bone takes longer to cook. By placing the bone side on the grill first, you allow the heat to gradually cook the inner parts. Third, don't flip the meat too often. Flipping the meat too frequently causes the juices to escape, leading to drier meat. Let one side cook thoroughly before flipping just once or twice. Fourth, season with salt at the end. To fully enjoy the fresh meat's natural flavors, don't season it with salt in the beginning. Sprinkle just a little at the end to enhance the taste. 3. Taste comparison. Fresh versus aged pork ribs. Now the most important part, the taste difference. White heavy checkmark fresh pork ribs have a stronger, more natural pork flavor. They are juicy, tender, and rich in their own fats, making them slightly crispy on the outside and moist inside. If you enjoy the pure taste of pork, this is the way to go. White heavy checkmark aged pork ribs are more tender and have an intense umami flavor. Even without seasoning, they offer a naturally savory taste, and the fat gives them a melt-in-your-mouth texture. In conclusion, fresh ribs highlight the juiciness and original pork taste, whereas aged ribs focus on tenderness and umami. 4. Pros and cons of fresh pork rib grilling. Before we move on, let's sum up the pros and cons of fresh pork ribs. White heavy checkmark pros. Preserves the natural flavor of pork. Juicy and rich in texture. Has a deep, nutty pork aroma. Crossmark cons. Can be chewier than aged meat. If grilled incorrectly, it may turn out dry or undercooked. Has less umami compared to aged pork. That's why grilling technique is crucial for fresh pork ribs. Follow these tips, and you'll experience the best flavors. 5. Korean-style grilled pork skin. A dish that often accompanies pork ribs is grilled pork skin. There are several ways to prepare it: steaming before grilling, grilling directly, and grilling with seasoning. White heavy checkmark steamed then grilled pork skin. Pre-steaming makes the skin softer and juicier. The collagen remains intact, giving it a chewy but tender texture. It absorbs seasonings well, making it great with soy-based or spicy marinades. White heavy checkmark directly grilled pork skin. Offers a more elastic and chewy texture. Has a strong nutty pork flavor. The outside gets crispy while the inside remains chewy, giving it a unique contrast in texture. White heavy checkmark seasoned grilled pork skin. Marinating the skin before grilling reduces the gamey pork smell and enhances umami. The seasoning caramelizes, giving it a mix of crispy and chewy textures. Popular seasonings include spicy gochujang, sweet soy sauce, and garlic-based marinades. 6. Korean-style kimchi stew at barbecue restaurants. A must-have at a Korean barbecue restaurant is kimchi stew, but restaurant-style kimchi stew is slightly different from homemade versions. White heavy checkmark key features of barbecue restaurant kimchi stew includes meat trimmings, pork belly fat, neck meat, or brisket trimmings are added for richer flavor. Deep umami taste. The combination of aged kimchi and meat juices creates a deeply savory broth. Added ingredients like tofu, green onions, and glass noodles These ingredients absorb the flavorful broth, adding texture. Finishing with mixed rice. Mixing steamed rice into the remaining broth makes for the perfect comforting meal. Wow, look at this. You can see how juicy it is, right? The rich, nutty flavor that spreads in your mouth is amazing. Fresh pork ribs have a unique appeal compared to aged ribs. And when paired with pork skin and kimchi stew, it's the ultimate Korean barbecue experience. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time for more delicious food stories. Thank you.